Hello and welcome to Talk Good Games. Just finished England 2, Germany 0. We're here to go through the game. Before we do, Gonzo, how you doing?
I'm magnificent, my friend. Are you well?
Yeah, I'm all right. You should be buzzing right now. You must be buzzing.
Yeah, I am. I'm thrilled. My mind is. I'm thinking, can we reach the final? Can we reach the final? Tell you what, if we reach the final, I'm gonna have a party in my back garden. I can't believe it. I cannot. We're in the lovely part of the draw. Kane's just scored a goal, which is really important to England as well. We'll discuss the other bits and pieces because I wasn't thrilled throughout the game, but we've got scoring. It's another clean sheet, which is really important, particularly if you're going to score goals. And so to score 2 goals, I felt was really good. That was hard work, right? It was hard work to watch, but I felt that was exactly the way Gareth Southgate would have wanted that game to go. So I'm really pleased. Can we honestly do it? I don't know, but I'm going to really enjoy it now. Now I'm going to start enjoying it.
The manager has his critics every game for his lineups, but he's getting it right every game.
Yeah, I mean it's hard. I guess it sticks in the throat a little bit, to be honest with you, because I do look at it and I do think this is not the team that I would select. But he is getting it right, Geo, and this is really the point. And if that's what he's deciding to do, which is basically keep it tight and try and win the game near the end, then we've got to go with it. And I've got to try and be more even-handed than I am, because I am disappointed. I'm disappointed when I see the lineup and stuff like that. Oh, come on. It is I want to see a little bit more fantasy. I want to see a little bit more adventure. But I've got to try and be honest with myself and even and fair, because actually when I need to apply the same mantra or the same what level of appraisal to Gareth Southgate that I afford to David Moyes, which, and I'm very much when Moyes was doing that. Actually, if this is what Moyes wants to do and what he feels he needs to do to get West Ham to where he feels he needs to get them, we just got to go with it, and we've got to accept we're going to defend a bit more. I think perhaps what I've got to do now is maybe do the same with Gareth Southgate and do the same with England, even if it's a hard watch at times. But we understand, we've been schooled with this for West Ham, haven't we? So he is getting it right, mate.
And before we get into it, this video is sponsored by OneFootball. The link is in the description in the pinned comments of the video. It's a completely free app, so get it downloaded. If you're not going to be watching the game at 8 p.m. when Ukraine take on Sweden, you want to know who England's got in the next round, you need to know Declan Rice has got cramp and he'll be okay for the next round. Everything is in this app. You select what you follow, so you can click on England. You probably wouldn't want to click on Germany. Even if you are German, there's no point following them. I think their news feed's going to come to an end after tonight. You're clicking on West Ham. You keep up to date with all the transfer gossip. Get OneFootball downloaded today. The ultimate football app for the ultimate football fan. Link is in description and pinned comments. Right, let's talk about the game. Let's just skip to halftime. 0-0 at halftime. I thought it was a bit of a boring game in the first half. I thought it was sort of like it was almost 2 poor sides. I thought Germany were poor, but I thought England were poor as well. I thought you both had 5-10 minute spells each where you would dominate possession a little bit. Never really tested the goalkeeper. Germany once or twice looked like they got in. A couple of times England looked like they got in, but they never really. There's fell to Kane at the very end as well, where he takes a touch past Neuer, but scooped away by Hummel. Superb tackle there, but I thought it was 2 managers, 2 sides, a bit conservative, a bit afraid of each other, 2 sides who perhaps weren't confident in their own group's game performance as well. Southgate would be looking, thinking, what's the problem here? 3 clean sheets out of 3. England had never been convincing. I think the first half reflected that possibly.
Yeah, and possibly 2 teams that weren't unhappy if it went to penalties. I was in for the long haul. I thought, okay, I'm going to have to get some more get some more snacks and some more drinks, because we could be going a long time here. As it looked like, actually didn't look like anybody was going to commit enough players forward. There was a point in that first half when a ball was crossed over, and it was well dealt with by England. It might even have been the second. I don't know. It was the bit where Pickford punched it out. And if you just look at it before that, there was 1 German guy in an attacking position and 4 English defenders. And I think it was indicative of how many men they were going to commit forward into the attack. So they held a lot back. And if you the chance on the counter from Timo Werner, the chance on the counter from which Rice pulled down Goretzka, and then obviously the Muller one, which I know, but we're skipping forward to the second half. But they were snap chances. ever feel that there was a dominant number of Germans laying siege to our goal. And so I do think they were quite tentative how many players they wanted to commit forward. And I thought we were the same in that first half. And it was boring, and it was a hard watch, and it was a struggle to think where's the goal going to come from, because Harry Kane, not for the first time in this tournament, was looking quiet. And I'm looking at it thinking, how are we going to get the ball to him? We need the creative spark. We need somebody to do something a little bit magical, because I think a lot of his stock Southgate had put on wingers and fast guys. And I said to you in the Patreon breakfast show this morning, I felt if anyone was, it almost was going to be Kane's job to drop deep and play them in. Well, he was dropping too deep, and he wasn't involved, and that wasn't really happening. And I thought both teams were pressing, so it was hard for me to see where the goal was going to come from.
But you got one. Raheem Sterling, fantastically worked goal in the end, really. Superb ball across from Luke Shaw. The way Raheem Sterling pulls on, as soon as Grealish flicks out to Luke Shaw, Sterling just sort of pulls 2 or 3 yards into the centre of the box and becomes unmarked. It's a tap-in for him in the end, but the timings of everybody's right. Kane's run is important. He's just onside. Gives it to Grealish, gives it to Shaw, who's comfortably onside, but he's got to hold it well. Gives it to Sterling, who's just onside once again. It was, in the end, a superb team goal.
It was a superb team goal, and yeah, his run, Sterling's run at the start, the skipping past the 2 or 3 people was key and was pivotal. Of course, he's obviously on 3 goals for the tournament now, of course, as well. And I just wonder, something happened there with that substitution. Obviously, he brought Grealish on. And I don't know whether it was Grealish being there or Sterling not being there. I'm talking on the left-hand side, had liberated Luke Shaw for some reason or another, who was going to be involved, because obviously they would repeat the compliment for the second goal, Shaw and Grealish. But yeah, good striker's instinct, really, and he stayed on side well. And yeah, I mean, I was quite noticeable. I didn't even know whether to celebrate. I would say either goal. I was even saying to Irish Tommy, can we check that? Are we going to check that back a bit? Can I celebrate? Is that, is it going to be offside or anything? Because had that gone through that first goal to Kane, it would have. I think still he was possibly offside, but they would have looked at that for a little while longer than they did. That was a really good goal, Geo. And actually, I thought afterwards, if we played on the front foot like that more, we wouldn't have to be having all this squeaky bum. Actually, that German team, if we'd have started playing like that from the start, we could have put 4 past this team, So, but it was a very, very good goal.
Yeah, well, to be fair, Germany had their chances. Timo Werner with that big save from Jordan Pickford, and then Raheem Sterling goes and sets up Thomas Müller practically. He gives it to Kai Havertz, turns around, and Müller's running down the middle of the pitch unmarked, plays him in. Lovely pass, can't complain with that. I think Müller's sort of second touch, it's a little bit light. It takes him to the edge of the box, and he's too close to take another touch, and Kyle Walker's breathing down his neck, but he's also too far away to really put Pickford on his arse kind of thing. And I just think Müller's touch just before he shoots is just a little bit too light. But what a let-off that was for your side, because I don't know, that must have felt like a minute watching Thomas Müller running on goal like that.
Well, a player that breaks hearts, a top quality player. Look, I mean, he's getting on a bit now, but he was never the quickest anyway. But he might have lost some pace, he might have lost some this, that, and the other. But he's still a wily old fox, and he despite him not being in optimum position, I still would have fancied him to finish it. I've got to say, he's got more than enough technique and precision to finish that sort of ball. It was a let-off. It was a massive let-off. And, of course, just to remember Havertz's excellent left-foot shot, great technique, which must have come at Pickford at 100 mile an hour, and he tipped it over. So, yeah, listen, they had their chances. They really did have their chances. But it wasn't a game of massive chances. And I felt, because we had lots of corners, England, and I just never felt we made any of them stick. I mean, technically, Maguire will probably come away from that game having registered 2 shots on target, 2 headers on target, but they didn't threaten the goal. They were never going to be goals. Just the goalkeeper just caught them and just did that. So, so the game was very much in the balance, and I was, at 1-0, and then he goes and does that. I just think, come on, if you saw everything that was right and everything that was wrong with Raheem Sterling within that sort of 5-minute period, carrying the ball and then getting in to finish well. Being 2 things, he travels so well with the ball. I say it's that Sterling travels well with the ball, clearly he's had a couple of seasons with Man City where he's got up into double figures and 20 goals on. I think season before last, possibly 20 goals for Man City, something like that, maybe even more. So he clearly can finish. It's his passing, and the way he doesn't read the game, which is a bit of an issue for him. So you saw the best, although the best of those attributes there, and then you saw the absolute worst of him basically passing the ball to Havertz and saying, there you go, have a go.
It's taken a while, but Harry Kane finally got off the mark. I think it came at the right time for you, because I think, to be fair, your first one really sucker punched them, but I think Germany just lost all composure, even at 1-0. It was like, right, what we're going to do now, kind of thing, because Southgate took on Grealish at the same time Lowe took on Narby. Both managers rolled the dice at the exact same time, and it was a case of whoever gets this sub right could go on to win the game, and we saw it. The funny thing is, Narby's been playing as a striker this tournament for Germany, and he's looked crap up front. He's not a striker, he's looked rubbish. So why he put him on up front, I don't know really, because you barely saw him when he came on. All he did was jump and contest headers with Kyle Walker half-heartedly with the aim of winning a throw-in. But again, England clinical, like you said, Jack Grealish then gets a comment. He gets it from Luke Shaw, sort of half crosses it. It's like it's a strange way of crossing the ball, because you can't put too much pace on it, otherwise Kane can't get there. So he sort of floats it at chest height into the area. He's on his weaker side, Grealish, and he's sort of balanced a little bit as well. It's a case of, I'm just going to do my best to put the best ball possible in there, and someone's going to have to do something. Gets it in there, and there's Harry Kane. And it's a more difficult header than it looks, because it looks, at the end of the day, he's, 8 yards out of goal? All he's got to do is head on target, he scores. But it's an awkward height for him. He's sort of leaning over like someone's sort of, he's gone in the shower and the shower's turned cold. Oh, he's going in like that. But it's a superb header in the end, I think.
Yeah, it was at moob height. It was the old chaps. It was, they did have to. I mean, you either go one or two ways. You either stoop low to head it in, or you try a bicycle kick or something like that. But it was very precise. It was a really precise finish. It was angled well, and it was down and excellent. And Harry Kane would have had a lot more goals in this tournament had he had more service like that. I would also suggest that Raheem Sterling's first goal, which was the header, if you remember in this tournament, Harry Kane would have gobbled that one up as well. And I did think, actually, he came alive, Harry Kane. I thought he'd forget the injury thing. I thought he came alive when Grealish came on, actually. And I'm not sure, I'll say sure, I think that a large part of that is Shaw being liberated, and then you immediately saw a partnership, the type of partnership you never really saw with Sterling and Shaw. Immediately, Shaw and Grealish, okay, we're going to do something here. And sorry for that second goal, the way Luke Shaw intercepted and then made the tackle was really good. Luke Shaw had cut inside and done an impression of Declan Rice and did very, very well indeed. But I felt there was a partnership there, and then it's amazing what it would do for your confidence as a striker, because I think at that point Harry Kane thought, oh, hold on, I might get the ball here. Particularly having seen Sterling's goal, even though Sterling knocked it in, Kane probably thought at that point, oh, right, okay, yeah, this is my game. I'll have a bit of this. Now we've got a different player over there, and a combination. The ball may well come in, and that would be my only. England can do much better things than they're currently doing. If we can get a combination on the left and a combination on the right. And if you remember, I'll take you back to that first game. The first game, England, it was all on the left. Poor old Foden was isolated on the right, wasn't he? We couldn't quite get a combination going down there. But he can sort that out. And there's no reason why he can't, but his personnel at his disposal, Southgate, then he can really get lots of service to Harry Kane.
Yeah, I don't disagree. Anyway, it finished 2-0. What's your overall thoughts on the game? We'll get into a few player performances in a second, but overall thoughts. I mean, I thought Southgate got it bang on, to be honest with you. I thought, the first half was a bit boring. Second half was a bit more like chess. You go, we go. You move, we move. Southgate with the lead. The England going 1-0, it made it easy for him. He didn't have to do any subs then. Before, it was sort of a bit of pressure. You're going to have to do something. I'll put on Grealish, then I'll see what happens. Kane had a bit of a knock. Trippier had a bit of a knock. I thought, I'll just wait and see. And when you're winning, it's easy as a manager to sort of just say, well, it's working. I won't have to change it, kind of thing. But I thought it worked from the first minute to the last minute for Southgate. I thought you got your lineup bang on in the end. His subs were bang on. 2-0 in the next round. Job done. Another clean sheet. 10 out of 10 for the gaffer, I think.
The game wasn't an enjoyable game, Geo. Okay,
No.
but I've sacrificed the enjoyment of 90 minutes or 80 minutes up to the point where we scored, because I actually get that I'm really going to enjoy myself for the rest of these next few days now. So that's what it's given. It wasn't entertaining. It wasn't fun. It was a hard watch. But now, and it's actually we'll get away from this review once we finish, and I'll make myself something to eat, and I'll sit down and have a little think about it, and I'll start looking. I'll open up a web page and look at not that web page, obviously I'll do that late. That'll probably be about midnight. But before I do that, I'll probably open the One Football app and just have a little look at the tables and the various connotations, and start to actually enjoy myself and dream a little. So did I enjoy the game? No, not really. But I'll tell you what, I'm bloody going to enjoy the evening.
Individual performers, take your pick.
Let's have a little think.
Start with Declan then. West Ham channel, it makes sense. I thought he was superb tonight, Rice. I think he has to take that yellow card. That free kick he goes away in the champion. He's got to take that. He's bearing down in goal. He's going in the box. The next stride, he becomes in the box, and it becomes a penalty if anyone fouls him. Yeah. That's the last gasp opportunity to foul him. Rice probably thought, I doubt he sat there with this thought process while he was running down after him, but he might have thought, early in the game, the ref might just let me off with this one, because sometimes referees do think 10 minutes on the clock, I'll give you a warning, next time you're going in the book. He books him. Turns out it's a fantastic yellow card to take. There was one or two times I thought Rice went in for a tackle, but you got that wrong, that's a second yellow. But I thought he managed the game superb. He managed his game superb. I thought he was brilliant. I thought Rice was absolutely superb today for England. He was breaking up stuff. He was in the way of Kai Havertz or Thomas Muller. He was in their way quite often. I thought he was brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, yes, I think he did have to take the guy down. It was a complete abject failure in the system at that point. If you were going to play three centre halves with two defensive players in front of them, not that Phillips was always defending, of course, he had some licence to go forward. Those tactics should negate that happening, which is basically the runner from deep. Even if Stones has come out and it ain't worked out, you should still have enough cover there. There shouldn't have been the space. That was a failure in the system. There shouldn't have been the space to do there for him to run into. There was the space for him to run into, and Declan Rice did the right thing. I actually thought Declan Rice got better as the game went on as well, and I thought his interceptions were really good. And I do think with Rice, at the very point, there was a stand up and be counted point in that match, and it was the exact point I'm alluding to where Harry Kane said, right, I'm going to start. It was when Grealish came on. There was a lot of things, and I think at that point as well, a few other players thought, actually, I'm going to grasp the nettle here. And I would include Phillips in, actually went bang. I think he trod on Havertz's toe, and there was another bit earlier where he went in. We'll talk to him in a second, actually. But so I thought Declan Rice, there was a few of them who said, right, this is it. We're gonna carry the team through to the end of the game here. Just on Phillips, I think Phillips is a really good player, and he's gone from a squad man to he'll get to the end of this. Well, if England win this, he'll get to the end of this tournament as a hero, as they all will. But even if they don't, he is an established England international first team player now. And I thought there was a couple of times. One was with Havertz, one was with Cruz. And it was Cruz, and I don't know. I don't speak German at all. But if I could translate the German, there was a point where Cruz was saying, "What? Where's this guy coming from? He's trodden on my toe," and he was moaning to the referee, and it was just an energy about him. It really, biting and snarling and tackling. No biting. There was no biting, but you know what I mean. And I was really impressed with driving forward. He was everywhere, but he cut some miles today. I thought Saka. I thought Saka at the start when England were a bit insipid was really carrying it forward and helping to win us some corners. I thought Trippier's corners were okay, and I didn't think that was a bad option at right wing back, but I'd like to see more. I never felt we really got going down that side in the way that I alluded to that we did at the end of the game. Down the left, Maguire's will really benefit from that, and I thought Stones as well at times looked decent. I thought Stones did quite well to stand. He did it twice. Werner, stand him up. One of them, he got through and he got the shot. And you've got to say Pickford did excellent for that. And then Pickford's done two tremendous saves today, Gio. And if you could be in the last 16 of a major tournament and do 2 outstanding saves as a goalkeeper, that's going to make the difference because you're dealing with quality teams. And Pickford, I actually have not. Remember David James used to be close to him Calamity James. He was a bit clumsy, a bit accident prone. I have that about Pickford. So and there was a point in the season where he was just falling over people and injuring them and stuff. You don't go near. I think I even said when we played Everton first season that don't go near Jordan Pickford because he'll injure you. He might not even mean to. He might just trip over. He's clumsy and awkward. And I've not seen any of that. I think his saving's been good. Positionally, he's been good. His kicking's good. Good. Yeah. I mean, he can come away with a lot. I don't normally talk about the goalkeepers. He can come away with a lot of that today. Yeah, there's a few players for you, mate.
I think Pickford was superb. He's not quite my man of the match, one other guy, but I thought Pickford was probably second for me. He's not had a lot to do with this tournament. He's had some decent saves to make, if you like, but he's never really been tested. Tonight he was, especially with that Timo shot, when he does get the better of John Stones, he does get played in. Another day, it ricochets off him, goes in kind of thing, but didn't tonight. He's got it well. His distribution is top class for a goalkeeper as well. I don't think you can underestimate how good it is having a goalkeeper. He kicks it differently to most other keepers. When he sort of half volleys out his hand, he takes his leg up to like waist height. He swings his foot up high, and you can get some real. He gets a hard hit, gets some real distance on his distribution. I really like the way that he plays out from his goals, whether it's his hand or on the deck. I thought he was superb. I don't think anyone had a bad game. I think everybody was good, solid performances from England. I thought Kane. It was a big decision from Southgate to leave him on when he went down because it would have been easy for Southgate because Kane had been missing for the whole game up to that point and sort of the end of the first half. I don't think it was a big chance. I think Kane actually does what he's supposed to do, which is try and get the ball down and take it past the goalie. And it's just unfortunate. Hummels is there to scoop it away from him kind of thing. But he stays on, gets his goal, he looks relieved. And I thought it was a professional performance from England all in all, but there was one guy in particular I thought was outstanding, actually, for England. Can I get your final words on man of match, please?
My final words are: I'm just delighted. You know, this is, well, like I say, we've analysed it now. I've done my stuff. I've done my job. We've done our videos, and I'm actually going to go and enjoy it. I really am. I am going to go and.
You should probably go watch the game in 40 minutes. Ukraine play Sweden. Could you play the winner in the quarterfinal?
I will do that. Nice. I'll do exactly that. But you know, this is so. When's the next game? Is on Saturday, right?
Saturday, yes.
8 o'clock. 8 o'clock. This one. So I'm really going to look forward to that, and I can't wait. And I'm going to allow myself to have a little dream. So actually, the final words are not of any analysis at all. I'm really pleased. Waiting a long time to see either England or West Ham win a trophy, and in the same way, Geo, that we would be if West Ham were through to the last knock-ins of the unfortunately you wouldn't see with the FA Cup. You don't know how the draw pans out because it's a draw. It's random. It's not split into. It's not branched like it is here.
Europa League, then, if we make it to Europa League,
we'd be thinking, oh, hold on a second. You know, AC Milan and everybody else are in the other part. We've got the Dog and Duck and Accrington Stanley in our part of the draw. So have I just possibly just compared the Ukraine and Sweden to the Dog and Duck and Accrington Stanley? That won't bite me on the arse at all, will it? But I'm buzzing about that. I'm really happy. The man of the match, I think I'm going to give it to Phillips actually because I just think he impressed me all game really. So yeah, we'll go with that.
I don't blame you, actually. Coming into this tournament, Phillips is sort of 50-50 with Jordan Henderson. If Henderson was fit enough, who's going to start out the two of them kind of thing? And Henderson can't get a team now. You know, tonight was the night where Southgate said to Henderson, sorry, Phillips invited him a partnership. And they will be the partnership in the quarterfinal as well. So he's sort of taken Jordan Henderson's place in the sort of starting 11 for England going forward, assuming Southgate doesn't want to wedge Mason Mount in for the next game. But for tonight, my man of matches Luke Shaw. I thought he was outstanding down that left-hand side. Got the assist as well. Even prior to tonight's game, Shaw statistically was England's most creative player. You saw it tonight when he come down there. He was up against Kimmich, who is a top player, a world-class footballer. Did not see him. It was all Luke Shaw down that side. Shaw and Sterling had it was a tackle on Shaw that got Ginter booked about 15-20 minutes into the game. Germany's right centre back, he got booked. I just thought, well, he's fantastic. He's taking him out of the game now. They've now got a centre back that cannot make a tackle for the next 70 minutes or something. I thought Shaw was just outstanding. I think he's been England's best player of the tournament so far. I thought it was Mings, but obviously he's not been involved the last 2 games.
Sure.
I think possibly Luke Shaw has been. I thought he was just incredible tonight. Every time he come forward with the ball, I thought he was going to make something happen. And pivotally, England's second goal, Rice got cramped, didn't he? He went down with cramp. England had possession. Luke Shaw had possession. The easy thing to do would have been to turn around and wallop it into Rose and say, man down, let's kill. He didn't. He drove forward with the ball. He said, no, we've got them here. We've got Germany up against the ropes. Let's go get this second goal. And he set up the first one. But I have to say, I thought he had a massive hand in England's second goal because the easy thing to do would have been to stop.
He won the tackle. He won the tackle.
Yeah, he could have stopped the game, Luke Shaw.
Yeah.
Instead said, Luke Shaw's injured, let's knock it out. But he didn't. He got the ball, drove forward and said, let's get a second. And you got it. Then you're in the quarterfinals. Think you can win it yet?
Yeah.
You have to. Ukraine, Sweden in the next round, with no disrespect to them. I know Eric's in the live chat and stuff. But you've got to fancy your chances against whichever one you play in the quarterfinal. And then you might come up against Czech Republic in the semis. So you've got to fancy it. You just have to. So,
yeah,
anyway.
I mean, it's there, mate. It's there. It's opened up. I want a team to continue to evolve, though. But if we've not conceded a goal, mate, and that counts for an awful lot.
Anyway, if you've enjoyed this review, drop a like on it, subscribe to the channel, check out One Football, links in the description and the pinned comments. Myself and Gonzo will be back later on in the week with the match preview as England take on either Ukraine or Sweden in Rome for the quarterfinal of Euro 20. We'll catch you in a bit.